All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the number one podcast in the world. We have a very fun, exciting episode to get into. We talk about the domination of Chinese companies in America. We're talking about a casual, maybe $5 to $50 billion we're going to spend in America for unclear why. We are talking about what is the most popular shoe in America and much, much more. Let's get into it.
Boom.
Cash.
Ladies and gentlemen, group chat.
Cash.
It's $1 trillion. Hot.
All right, everyone, we are back with another episode of Group Chat. It is Christmas week. People are out and about shopping. The virus is spreading. I actually had a few conversations this week with retailers. Everyone is saying Christmas is kind of soft.
In brick and mortar.
Both.
So is that a trickle down that inflation basically came in the last 60 to 90 days? There's no new stimulus. There's no new checks. So people are just tightening up?
Yeah, I'm sure there are inflationary issues like gas and other things that potentially have softened spend. I personally think consumers are overspent.
Yeah.
Like, I think they consumed a lot. Look, I mean, there's more cash in savings than there's ever been. You know, there's more wealth created at the top than we've ever seen. So all of those things are suggesting that Christmas shouldn't be soft. I think the average American family probably didn't have a great year, and like maybe they're softer on Christmas spend. I think a lot of people want to keep blaming the supply chain for why sales are down. I don't think that's the reason. I actually think we're just seeing a slow Christmas, which, look, it's not the end of the world. It happens. There's Christmases all the time that are slow. It's just surprising given that, it was like boom time, 90 days ago.
Yeah. And if you think about just like absolute dollars, I know the NFT market's only like 300,000 wallets, but it's like 15 billion of GMV, right? Yeah. So that 15 billion of GMV of NFTs is being taken from other parts of the economy.
Yeah.
Right? Like, especially now that there's no new stimulus, it's done. Build Back Better got crushed by Manchin yesterday.
Yeah.
And so there's no new capital coming into the market. So now you're going to see the redistribution of where people are spending. So if it's from crypto, it's now, because you don't have new checks coming in, it's taking away from retail or it's taking away from restaurants. Because in the last 2 years, what we saw was just unlimited capital, just keep coming in, new stimulus. Everything rose, right? Because there's unlimited capital for everything. There's unlimited capital for travel. There's unlimited capital for crypto. There's unlimited capital for growth stocks, unlimited capital for NFTs. And that's going to correct, I think, pretty hard.
Yeah.
And there's only one pie, right? And now that the pie's not getting bigger, it's going to be taken from other parts.
Yeah, and I think my guess is holiday travel is way up. Like, even with the Omicron spreading, all throughout the country, I think travel, I'm sure, is really, really high this holiday season because there's pent up demand. So
just from our own personal friends, everyone's either in Mexico or Hawaii.
Yeah, no, we have a lot of friends that aren't traveling though. I know a lot of people. I think there are a lot of people traveling who didn't travel last year. Definitely didn't travel last year. So I think there is I think there's a lot of demand on travel. You would think that maybe this variant had some impact, but I don't think so. I don't think anyone's canceling their trip. There's only one person I saw is canceling his trip, Bill Gates.
I saw that.
Why the fuck are you canceling your trip? Because you, Mr. Gates, can travel and not see a soul. He's saying it's because of Omicron.
Yeah, he can travel in his like Boeing business jet or whatever he has, get to his private villa and not see a single person.
Like, I think he's trying to have some like kind of moral thing saying, I'm canceling. The next 3 months are going to be bad is what he's saying. And, you know, if we take the right steps, masking up and getting vaccinated, like, bro, you're the wrong person.
Yeah, you're the wrong messenger.
Wrong messenger. And even when it comes to the vaccination, even though we all kind of, you know, all joke about Bill Gates, microchips, whatever, that is what Americans think is happening. So shut up.
Yeah, he kind of needs to disappear, unfortunately. Like, I think Bill Gates has done incredible things for humanity with polio and how much the countless number of billions he and his ex-wife Melinda Gates have done for causes in Africa, India, Pakistan, all these places. Like, that's undeniable.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, your brand doesn't align with where 2021 is for positive causes. Yeah. And like, I know it sucks because you're probably like, I've spent tens of billions of dollars of my personal capital to help humanity, and now I have to shut up. But unfortunately, like, that's the world moves so quickly. And like, while we can like distinguish, like, Bill Gates isn't like a evil guy, the young person probably thinks Bill Gates is the worst person on the planet.
Yeah, and now you're canceling your vacation?
Yeah, no one wants to hear that.
No one wants to hear Bill Gates cancel. First of all, you shouldn't have canceled. Bill Gates instead. You know what I would rather love for Bill Gates? Hey, guess what, guys? You should cancel your vacation. I'm not going to cancel mine because guess what? I don't have to see another person for the next 75 years if I don't want to.
Yeah, it's like total virtue signaling because you know a guy that's worth, you know, 100 billion, whatever he's worth, can vacation very safely.
Yeah. We were joking around with one of our friends, like, you know, if you go to school today and your family travels, when you come back, you have to quarantine, right? And for a period of time. We have friends traveling. They're not going to see another person because they're flying private. They're going to a private home in a private space where everyone's heavily tested and vaccinated, and their experience. We went to the Grove where we were exposed to more people than anybody.
Yeah, the Grove is...
I saw more people at the Grove on Sunday than Bill Gates saw the entire year. Entire year.
Maybe 2 years.
2 years. Probably with the pandemic. Since 2019, I saw more people. And he's canceling his plans.
And it's also, I actually was really in one of my chats with a lot of friends who all work in tech. We saw that he had like a promoted tweet of Bill Gates of like an article about him. I'm like, what are you doing, man? We were all like, dude, you're the superhero. Why are you promoting your own tweets? Yeah. So he's so concerned about his branding. And it sucks because, like I said, he's done so much, I think, to advance so many causes. But like, man, you're promoting your own tweets about your causes. Like, that's like what like criminals do on Instagram to like clear their name. Like, isn't there that real estate guy that I think Brian sent us? He's trying to clear his name on Instagram, but like promoted sponsored Instagram.
Yeah. Oh my God. So, well, we'll see what happens. But look, I think everyone at the end of the day has to play it safe, do what's best for them, and make those decisions. But like, you can't like. We've learned. And if anything I've learned from the last like 4 or 5 years, specifically from political standpoint, like, you can't tell people what to do. You got to do what's best for yourself. And if people are aligned, great. If they're not, don't get mad either. Like, you can live your life however the fuck you want.
I mean, I think it's actually interesting what the NFL did in the last week, because across all sports leagues, COVID has just like, everyone's in the health and safety protocol chamber. And the NFL basically said, we're not going to test asymptomatic people. Yeah. And now it's like random testing. So like, you could assume like Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady aren't getting tested.
They should not be.
And, but the players want to play.
Yeah.
If you're asymptomatic and you test positive. So the only reason we're seeing such a spike in sports is because they test every day. I think they may even test twice a day. And they're just basically like, if they're asymptomatic, we're going to remove like that requirement. And it's Omicron, for all we've read and heard so far, seems to be a significantly milder case, significantly more contagious, significantly milder. When will society accept this as like, you know, hey, it's okay to get COVID. You don't have to.
I think more than half of society agrees with that.
But then you have Biden saying he's going to ship 500 million tests.
So Biden's shipping out 500 million at-home tests, which, man, I can't imagine the lick someone just came up on.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, my guess is it's many companies, but 500 million at-home tests. You know the U.S. government doesn't know how to negotiate price.
No, they overpay. Whatever market is, they pay double.
Yeah, so like I saw, my friend was showing me last night at dinner that there's a company called Binex that does at-home testing. I think it's $24 for 2 tests.
Okay.
So U.S. government's probably paying $30 for the same 24.
And guaranteed prepay, no terms. They're just putting it up front, right?
That's 15. If they said $30 for those 2 tests, that's $15 billion.
Right.
Just gone.
Yeah.
Let's assume they're negotiating a little better than that. But it's somewhere on the low end, it's $10. On the high end, it's $30.
Right.
It's somewhere between $5 and $15 billion is being spent on getting everyone their tests. And by the way, they're shipping it to us, so no one's giving a shipping discount. So add $8 per package to ship, maybe 10. Who the hell knows? So I mean, you're talking about $20-30 billion. And the NFL is actually leading the way in my opinion. Like they're like, life has to go on. We're not canceling fucking games. No one wants to see games canceled.
No
one wants to see parties canceled. No one wants to see events canceled. And everyone has to make the right decision for themselves. I know people that are terrified of it. They're staying home.
Yep.
That's fine. It's great. They're doing they're not asking you to cancel anything. The people that I know are scared. They're not telling everyone else what the fuck to do. They're just saying, I'm going to stay home. I'm good.
And when do you think that's already normalized in the sense that people are like, I'm going to move on with my life. And if you think about like the NBA, Adam Silver actually in the last hour came out and said the virus is not going to be eradicated. We need to learn to live with it.
Yeah.
So, and we're not canceling games. We're not canceling the season. And I mean, and the stats are like pretty obvious for COVID now that we're 2 years in. Like if you're obese and you get COVID, your experience is very different than if you're not obese.
Yeah.
And,
that's why I had a green juice today for lunch.
Nice. I haven't eaten yet. So,
yeah. Variants scare me. It's interesting to see. Look, I think the holidays, we're going into Christmas, going to New Year's, the next 10 days, people are going to be together.
I think what we're going to see is second week of January is the peak. And then it comes down. It's similar to last January before the vaccine rolled out. Yeah. Didn't we see like January of last year before the vaccine really rolled out? It was like absolute chaos.
Yeah, and January was bad last year, and then
the vaccines. Yeah, and then the vaccines started coming out, and then February. With this specific strain, it seems like it's gonna. I think it'll fly the next 3 weeks. Hopefully most people aren't affected, and we've talked to like doctors we all know that work in hospitals. It's still the unvaccinated folks that are getting admitted.
All right. So you also, moving on, heard some. We got an email from someone in the logistics space. So here's an interesting to lead this. On TikTok, we posted our clip of the ports, and the comments are like, "These idiots don't know what they're talking about. They don't know anything." Just to clarify for the listeners, I've probably sold $500 million of clothes, all imported from China.
You don't know shit.
So I don't know shit. I just know I've been to the freaking country 20 times, been importing goods since 2002. I know this process. I know how it works. Never have we ever seen delays like this. Ever. It's just never happened. And then we got some interesting news, and I shared this on the last episode. Actual imports into the country are down at the LA port. They're actually down double digits. So it's not the volume issue. Anand, you saw an email flying back from one of our logistics partners, and what did they say?
Yeah, so Amanda, who works for Reckless, deals with, amongst many of her responsibilities, deals with importing all the goods in from China. And she had a conversation with our logistics provider, and his opinion, and I think it's a pretty valid opinion because that's what he does for a living, is that the union workers at the ports have seen that the steamline ships have jacked up all their prices because everyone's trying to get their goods in. So, prices to import goods just factually have gone up significantly. But it hasn't trickled down to the actual shoremen that are bringing the goods in. So he said to Amanda that he's never seen workers work slower in his entire career. And they're intentionally delaying all the goods from getting from ship to port to delivery because they are basically like, it's not trickling down to us. So we don't care and we're unionized, and it seems like a total clusterfuck.
Yeah, and I think that really is, and I keep saying it is a labor issue, 100%. Everyone wants to blame everything else, but it's truly a labor issue. And it's obviously clearly now a power struggle. I mean, we've had goods stuck for so long in so many. I mean, it's bananas. Unless you go to like the Matson private terminal, like where you get the goods released immediately, everything else is taking forever. It's not getting better. And yeah, I mean, I think I understand if everyone in the industry is making money and the employees are not, they have their leverage. So either we figure out how to compensate those folks, or I mean, you better figure out a new way to import goods into this country because that ain't changing anytime soon.
And that's the thing. That's the power unions have.
Yeah.
The ports can't use anyone else.
Yeah.
So if these guys are intentionally sandbagging their responsibilities, there's no other alternative.
Yeah. And we just need to.
So like all right. So if we just think kind of objectively about this, right? So you have private freight companies making significantly more on importing stuff.
Yeah.
Like, why isn't there just a negotiation between the union and the freight provider? Like, hey, we need a bigger slice of the pie.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is where you start, right? Like you go into full warfare, and then you finally you step up to the plate and you get it done. But
so that's actually the problem with I blame the politicians, right? Like, this is Mayor Pete. Like, this is your job. It's one of the biggest ports in the world, and you have workers sandbagging because they're not getting a fair share. So go figure out what the fair share is.
Yeah, give them more fucking money.
Yeah.
It's simple.
I think it's a very simple problem, and that also proves that this is much more exacerbated because of the lack of leadership than it is because we just can't bring goods in. Clearly, if the workers are sandbagging, we could probably bring in 5x the number of goods in a day.
Yeah, absolutely.
So where's the administration? Like, I mean, this administration is honestly like completely out to lunch. They're not solving anything.
No, but everyone's going to get a home test.
Yeah, you're going to spend $50 billion on testing when we could just import goods quicker, and it would actually show up in the economy like ASAP. If more goods come in, more shit sells. It's really simple logic.
Yeah, and I think I don't think the administration understands the supply chain correlation to inflation. I don't think they understand that.
No, I don't think so either.
Because if you knew that, then you would solve that problem right away. Because if the administration cares about inflation at all, you would unlock whatever's clogging this problem right now.
Yeah.
It's very simple. All right. Well, they have a lot of shit to deal with. I'll tell you who might have a worse PR than the White House at this moment. Facebook.
Okay.
Or AKA Meta, was voted the worst company of 2021 by a survey that Yahoo Finance, that SurveyMonkey conducted via the Yahoo Finance homepage from December 4th, through 5th. So they received 50%, more than 50% of the votes was Facebook as the worst. Runner-up is Alibaba.
How much of that is just directly correlated to where most people think the virus originated? I mean, the average person's not using Alibaba.
Oh, you think, it's Chinese company.
Yes. I mean, only people that use Alibaba are like I get Facebook because that's consumer facing.
Yeah.
No average consumer is just using Alibaba.
I mean, to be fair, I use Alibaba every day. I love it. Big fan.
So who would you rate as the worst company, Alibaba or Facebook?
No, to me, by far, like from a pure like public perception standpoint, like they kind of took the cake and they saw this data earlier in the year and said, fuck it, we're out. We're Meta. They're like, you voted Facebook the worst company. We're Meta.
Don't you think...
We don't know who that is.
Do you think Google and YouTube, because they don't have a Zuck, just get away scot-free?
No.
YouTube, I would argue YouTube is worse than Facebook.
So
have you gone down the rabbit hole just letting YouTube roll?
Yeah, but here's the thing. YouTube also and it provides way more valuable content to the world than Instagram and Facebook does. It's just fact. YouTube is education. YouTube is entertainment. YouTube is for your kids.
I'm saying but that's the difference. If you want to make the argument like the division of America is clearly
No, I disagree. YouTube is still young. Dude, our parents are not on YouTube. Our parents are on Facebook. Okay? Facebook is causing the division amongst the older set, not YouTube. YouTube might be brainwashing in different subsects of young people. Who do you know watches YouTube? You don't know one person that watches YouTube.
What do you mean?
Who do you know at your age watches YouTube videos?
I mean, I watched a podcast last night on
a podcast once.
No, but then if you let it roll,
but you're not. You're not. Is my point is you're not. That impact that you're saying is not happening for most adults. It's happening to young people, right? It's not happening. So, but Facebook is everybody. Facebook is causing this issue with everybody. Instagram. It's like these are such. The demographics are just wider on Facebook and Instagram, where YouTube, like it's a younger platform, right? Like it's sub 30, right? It's not like I don't know.
Rightfully so, Facebook is the worst company from a branding perspective in the last 12 months.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of image and brand, like, dude, they admittedly because they changed their fucking name.
Yeah, but what's crazy is no consumer is actually voting with their usage.
No, I mean, we don't actually care about anything. We just like to talk shit.
Yeah.
If that was the case, like, I mean, China had the worst PR and nothing has stopped us from buying anything from China.
No.
Nothing.
Yeah, you could argue they're in a stronger position than ever.
Yeah, so like, we don't care. We just like to talk.
Yeah.
We don't actually give a shit.
That's why we have podcasts like ours. We gotta talk about this.
We just talk about it, but we're not going to actually do anything about it. Climate change? Yeah, we don't like that it's cold right now in LA. We'd like it to be a little warmer.
No, you want it to be cold. You don't want it to be...
No. I want it to be warmer.
That's what Trump said. He's like, don't you want global warming? Don't you want it to be warmer?
I mean, this guy has a lot of valid points. I mean, I'm freezing this week in LA. I never wear a puffer jacket. I'm wearing a puffer every day.
Yeah.
But Facebook has a lot of PR kind of fixing to do. I mean, look, if they figure out this metaverse transition, unbelievable. It'll be
like before we leave metaverse world, because we talk about it a lot. Did you see the Jack Dorsey, Elon Musk, Web3?
Yeah.
On Twitter. Did you see their tweets at all?
Yeah, I did.
So basically what happened is Chris Dixon from Andreessen Horowitz, who is the guy that effectively leads all their crypto thinking. He led the Coinbase investment from back in 2012. Mm-hmm. So he's basically like their crypto guy. And he's very public. He's on Tim Ferriss. He's on, everywhere and talking about crypto Web3. And has been doing it for the last decade. So I think Elon Musk tweeted, "Where's Web3? How do I find it?" Like kind of tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
And then Jack Dorsey said it responds to Elon Musk. It resides basically somewhere between an A and a Z. So for people that know, Andreessen Horowitz's name is A16Z.
Yeah.
He's saying Web3 is controlled by like investors, and because the idea of Web3 is supposed to be decentralized, right?
But now it's Nike and Facebook.
Yeah, it's Facebook, it's Coinbase, it's OpenSea, and Andreessen Horowitz is the biggest investors in like all these companies. So I think Jack Dorsey's point was like, we're not even close to decentralized land, and Web3 is kind of, and then Chris Dixon, who's really fucking smart, wrote like this whole thing like, first they laugh at you, then they scream at you, then they fight with you. That's where we are here. Yeah. And that's where we are now. And then Jack Dorsey responds to him like, relax, guy, you're not Gandhi. Like, I'm paraphrasing, but that was like the spirit of the
Oh my God. I mean, he's right. People act like they're like saving humanity. You're selling some fucking pictures.
So, that's been fun on tech Twitter for the last 24 hours. So I just want to bring that up. But I also do think Web3 is like way ahead of its skis.
Oh, I mean, Web3 needs to pipe the fuck down. I'm telling you, it is fucking scary the way young people are just diving all in on this.
Yeah.
You know, in Web3, they talk about a lot of rug pulls.
Yeah. Web3 is all rug pulls.
Yeah, it's this when this rug gets pulled.
So rug pulls, for people who don't follow crypto, rug pulls basically like you're joining in the scam.
Yeah.
And that's happening like so often in Web3.
Yeah.
Like people entering different DeFi protocols and whatnot. Like if you really want to play in this game, you need to be fucking sophisticated. Yeah. Like, don't just randomly jump into this stuff because you'll get smoked.
Yeah, and like even on the NFT side of things, the way people are just like groupthink, dive into something, and then everyone I talk to now is like, they're like, oh, how do you NFT? Like, you're a casual NFT buyer. Everyone is down.
Yeah.
They're down big. Like, because the shit was, a lot of it was bullshit. The people that got in on these things early made a lot of money. They played it smart. They were in and out of projects. And that's great. And I think there's plenty of money to be made. But the problem is, the reason why Web3 scares me is that people are getting into it because it's quick money.
Yep.
That is why they're getting into it. Not because
they care about a decentralized world.
No one cares. That's why when Prank for Exit, Mr. Exit launched his Twitter account, and he was talking about like how people are talking about NFTs, like, you know, paraphrasing what he said also, you know, in terms of like changing the world. You're basically just a country club at the end of the day. Like, you're paying a right to hang out with a bunch of people that like think and act like you. And that's basically what NFTs are in these early days. Like, when you join something, like the community is amazing, but it's like, you can get that community at a country club. You can get that at your, you know, whatever. It's just that it happens to be a community on the internet. So like, that's cool, but that's not $1 trillion company.
No,
like,
and it's like true Web3 is going to need Web2.
Yeah.
You're going to need Coinbase. You're going to need OpenSea. You're going to need all these companies, because if anyone's like played around with Web3, it's scary.
Web3 is scary.
Web3 is very scary. You're the average person, the vast majority, are going to want a centralized platform to participate in Web3.
Yes.
You're going to on-ramp through a centralized platform that gives proper security.
Yes.
Gives proper education, easy usage,
trust,
transparency, and then you could on-ramp into Web3. And I think it's going to be a hybrid for a long time. Like this promise of decentralized, like everyone
anarchy. No,
it's not happening.
No, I don't.
Not the vast majority. It's going to be a small portion of the population, but it's going to take for like the 20-year-olds for all of us to die and get out, because we all want centralized on-ramps.
Yeah,
and then once we all are too old to operate a technology product, they can live in their decentralized land.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we speak about this company a lot. It's another Chinese company that we've just watched over the last couple of years absolutely take over. And Shein.
Yep.
Some people call it Shine. Some people call it I don't know what people are calling it. I call it Shein.
Yep.
Chinese company based in China, started in the fast fashion space in 2012. It started on their name, She Inside. It started in Nanjing, China, a big Chinese city. And it is currently valued, just to put things in perspective, $47 billion.
Yep.
Okay. Their investors include Sequoia. I think they're their biggest investor amongst a lot of the biggest names in technology.
Tiger Global, Sequoia.
Yeah. And in 2020, they reported sales of nearly 10 billion. If I were to guess, there's an absolute speculation guess, they've doubled their sales this year. I would not be
At the
surprised.
minimum, it's north of 15
Yeah.
billion easily.
Yeah.
Likely, probably closer to 20.
Exactly. And I've spent a lot of time understanding this business. And when I really, really understood it last year, so I remember vividly, maybe this is probably 6, 7 years ago. We had a production manager and he was like, you need to see this. I go, what is it? He's like, you can buy goods from this site and they're shipping it directly from the factory. And I remember we were like, oh my God, that's it.
Yep.
Everyone's toast. And we were like, I just couldn't believe that was happening. Then you find out and learn, oh, if you ship directly from a factory in China to America and it's under $850, those goods are charged no duties. That's amazing. Like on some of our footwear,
What's the dollar? Sorry, I missed.
850.
So if you're a customer, okay, so that's a big difference. Because so the way it currently works, as us as importers of goods, we pay somewhere in the range of 15 to 20%.
Oh, on some of my shoes, we're paying 30%.
Right. So 15 to 30%, we have to bear that cost and pass it off to the consumer.
Yeah. So
that if it's coming direct to the factory.
Exactly. And Shein and a couple other folks have figured out how to cost effectively ship goods into America, either via boat, air, whatever. Like, I think if you want expedited shipping on Shein, it's like $12.99. So maybe those goods are on a faster air service. They're basically consolidating all the cargo in China and shipping it directly here. And the way they're doing it is they're basically creating all these relationships, apparently with 6,000 factories that have the software, upload the new SKU on the site. You're basically on-demand manufacturing. You're offering a ton of newness every single day to the site. And by the way, this started in basically like young women's contemporary. So think Forever 21 land. That's where they started. They do everything now. They do men's, they do women's, they do dresses, they do plus size, they do beauty, they do home goods, they do footwear. So at first everyone was like, oh wow, this is the real threat to fast fashion players. And not just like the American ones. We're talking Zara, H&M, the big dogs. Now the tone has changed. Everyone's like, oh shit, this is the Amazon competitor. Because there are so many sellers on Amazon that are Chinese factories that are selling into America. And because of Amazon's like stupid review thing, the Chinese sellers get kicked off all the time. There's always, Amazon's game with the reviews is a real big challenge. And what's interesting is if you think about what's happening, billions of dollars were raised in the last 18 months of Amazon aggregators, people that are good Amazon sellers who want to buy them up, centralize some functions, make them more profitable and more efficient. If you think about what Shein's doing, that's way better. They're at the factory level. Mm-hmm. Because what we've learned is specifically American consumers, and I would say consumers in general, do not actually care about brands. They care about price, and they care about overconsumption. And Shein is saying, and I'm not saying everybody, I'm saying vast majority of consumers care about price more so than anything.
You're saying at this price point, they care about price over brand. Different price points are different considerations.
Different products, at different price points, sure. But when it comes to apparel, when it comes to things like that give you instant gratification, it's just about newness. I just want something, and it makes me feel better. And that's who we are. And so there's all this indication that Gen Z cares about sustainability. That can't be true. Like, is Greta Thunberg shopping on Shein? I mean, sustainability, if you care anything about sustainability, you would not be shopping at this site. This is the epitome of what was happening with, the way brands were making products 25 years ago, right? And this is basically supporting a Chinese company, Chinese factories, eliminating all the opportunities for Americans to make money along the way. I mean, this is a serious threat to the American kind of private enterprises that sell goods to Americans, because they can undercut on everything all fucking day, every category.
Yeah, and I think the broader point is, if they figure this out in apparel, why won't they be able to figure out in appliances, electronics?
They're doing it. They sell headphones. They sell everything.
Yeah. So, they're going after every category.
Yeah.
And the fascinating thing about Shein, and there's a few other competitors from China, all China grown, is that they don't sell in China.
No.
Because it's so much competition in China, because they've already figured this out.
Yep.
Locally, that they're like, hey, we don't ignore the Chinese market and just go after North America, Europe, South America. And it's actually interesting because it's kind of a slap in the face of US tech companies that we can't figure this out.
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing to do with tech. This company has nothing to do.
No. They're algorithmically just producing SKUs directly at the factory level. That's tech. So they just literally have a module that's at the factory level that's saying, oh, this skirt is selling. If it sells at this velocity, we go 2,000 SKUs. If it's at this velocity, we go 4,000 SKUs. And there's no merchandiser at Shein that's like, I think skirts are hot this season. No, they're letting the data actually speak for itself, and that's the beauty.
So Amazon does that too. So that piece is not. There's nothing unique to that piece. They're just doing that too. They're seeing what's selling, scraping it, making it themselves. They do that all day.
Yeah,
I think it's just you're in a country with cheap labor. You can fucking do this at scale. You can't do this here. Whatever Shein pays for any employee is a fraction of the cost that any American company pays for an American employee, whether it's a factory worker, an engineer, a data scientist, whatever. It doesn't even matter. And this will be one of those companies, because everyone says they're profitable. Zero fucking chance they're profitable. When it actually comes out, it will not be profitable, because they're just subsidizing everything. And the investors are happily keep giving them money because they're like, shit, it's a winner-take-all game right now. Go become $200 billion companies and then slowly raise prices. But dude, they're selling shit for $1, $2. You can't make money selling that. It's just bullshit. So I don't believe they're profitable, but investors believe that they're playing this huge game. It just sucks that we've been talking about this company for the last 18 months. It's doubled in size. You know what's going to happen a year from now? It's going to double again, and it will be the largest apparel retailer in America, I guarantee you, within 2 years, and no American's going to make any fucking money off it. Maybe some influencers along the way. That's it.
So what's your takeaway?
Ban it.
We didn't ban TikTok. Why are we going to ban Shein?
I'd rather you ban this than TikTok.
At least young American kids can wear cheap clothes that they can afford. There's no upside in TikTok.
There's no upside in Shein. Who cares?
What do you mean? A 20-year-old girl can buy enough outfits to feel good about herself.
Okay, but instead of paying $4.99, pay $6.99, then we get to make money.
Yeah,
it's a $2 difference.
Yeah,
$2, and you can employ some dude. It's not good for all we are consumers. There used to be a world where we used to touch it a little and make some money along the way.
I mean, the Biden administration's not going to do anything. You got to wait for another administration.
Yeah, I mean, at least add fucking duties. Collect some money on this fucking revenue.
No, I agree, because if it was the reverse, we would be banned in China if it was an American company.
100%.
You saw Apple had to invest $275 billion to sell phones in China?
Yeah.
$275 billion over like some period of time. I forget what the number of years is.
Tim Cook made a secret deal.
Yeah, Tim Cook, $275 billion to sell iPhones. We let TikTok and Shein in for free.
Yeah. And now they're eating everyone's lunch.
Yeah.
So good luck. Good luck everyone selling something. And not just clothes, anything. These guys are going to be making hot, flaming chips, and Cheetos is gone.
Yeah.
That's my feeling on it. So, I did caveat in my last rant that I don't believe most companies are brands. And I stand by that. I think the D2C era proved 99% of these companies are not brands. They're just transactional commodities at the end of the day. But there are brands still. One of them is Chanel, which, by the way, hired a brand new female Indian CEO. So it chalked another one up for the home team. But she got in there. Boom. She's like, you know what? I'm going to make a lot of money here. So I'm going to raise prices. They raised prices for one of their bags by 60% to $8,200. This is a small bag.
So the Chanel store in Los Angeles, I recently learned you can't get in without an appointment. And if you look online to book appointments, we looked out and it was like 2 weeks, you can't find an appointment. My friend was buying his wife a gift.
Yeah.
And so we were forced to go to Neiman Marcus, and there was a line outside the mini Chanel store within Neiman Marcus. So they should be raising their prices 200%.
By the way, I'll give you an example. So this...
why is Chanel so hot?
It's a hot brand, man.
But I feel like it's hotter than everything else.
I mean, I'd say Hermes is probably the
Hermes is higher price point, entry level, right?
Yeah, just Birkin bag is it. Like that's the top. When you talk about bags, Birkins are the top, and then I would say Chanel is right behind them.
Yeah, in Paris, Chanel, they won't even let you buy more than one bag at a time.
And then must wait 2 months before buying another one, which can't have the same features.
What a great business.
I mean, just fucking believable. I mean, purchasing limit, pricing increase. This, people, is a brand. If you can do that, if you can go on your site right now and say, you can only buy one pant, one lip gloss, one shirt. And by the way, you can't buy it for 2 more months. Then you're a brand. It's Apple. Apple can do that. Apple can limit. Apple can say you got to wait 2 months. Apple can do those things.
Apple can tell us you can only buy a phone every other release and we won't switch phones.
Yeah, exactly. So,
that's luxury can do that. I don't think.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What's happening with fast fashion and specifically these Chinese companies, it's basically bifurcating the market into either fast fashion, cheap.
No, it's a race to the bottom on one end. And it's a race to how much can you increase your prices to not see any decrease in demand.
Not to see any poor people wear your stuff.
Yeah.
But ironically, that's the economy too.
Well, I think that's all of society at this point.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, so there's you don't want to be in the middle, basically. You either want to be a luxury product or you want to be accessible price point. Like, there's no middle.
But how did that extrapolate to other industries? Like, do you think Cheesecake Factory is seeing a decline in business?
I mean, I guess
mid-tier price point restaurant.
Yeah.
Like Cheesecake, Chili's.
Probably. I mean, McDonald's is probably on fire.
Yeah.
And here's what I guess the question is cheesecake is not cheap, right?
Okay, what is cheap? Chili's?
No, McDonald's.
No, I'm saying for a sit-down restaurant. Like for, casual dining.
For example, like
a suburban family.
Yeah.
And they're like, what did we go when we were growing up? We go to like Claim Jumpers. We go to like Chili's. We like those venues.
Yeah.
That's middle class, right?
Yeah.
That's your night out for the week. Like you typically eat at home 5-6 days a week. The family, parents take the kids out, like, oh, let's go eat out. So those restaurants must see a decline.
Yeah, they will, because I think
That group of people aren't participating.
Yeah, or if they go out to eat, they're just going to reach and go to the nice restaurant, the steakhouse,
Okay.
the Ruth Chris or whatever. Like, they may reach and go somewhere nicer. I'm just thinking, like, when you walk into a Cheesecake Factory, I mean, I looked at a menu recently. It's not cheap. It's fucking expensive. So if you're going to spend 20% more and go eat at a restaurant in Beverly Hills and have a better experience, then wait 4 hours to go inside a Cheesecake Factory.
No, but I'm just thinking, like, we grew up in the Valley, and that was your suburban family night out. Was like one of those restaurants at Northeast Mall, right?
Yeah.
And if middle class isn't participating, they're probably trading down rather than trading up.
Yeah.
So that group of like businesses and industries have to decline.
Yeah. I mean, I would assume.
We're seeing like fast fashion is a disaster, or like is for clothing, cheap is working. Like people will buy cheap all day. You got to assume that's for food. You got to assume that's for everything else as well.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think like everything, I'm exaggerating it. I just think there will be places and restaurants and brands that will continue to be middle price point brands. That's just not where the opportunity is. The opportunity is either being inexpensive or focusing on the higher end market. Because like the things in the middle, like, yeah, we talk about all these interesting businesses and brands, and then Shein's worth $50 billion. $50 billion.
Probably worth more.
Shein.
They would do it round, I bet you.
Shein in 5 years will be worth more than Nike. Mark my fucking word, it'll be bigger than Nike. And Nike's a $250 billion company.
And in how many years, you said?
5 years.
Ooh, that's a tall task.
Unless
there's regulatory issues.
Exactly. That's the only thing. Because they're going to sell us everything. You're going to buy your couch from fucking them.
And that's the funny thing about U.S. politics. We're trying to shut down Amazon, shut down Facebook, shut down Google, but TikTok, Shein, come in and kick our fucking ass.
Yeah. Why? Because the progressive politicians don't know Shein. They're shopping on there. Because like, damn, these are good deals. This is a great deal for a socialist.
And Elon Musk is paying $11 billion in taxes, and Elizabeth Warren's shitting on him.
And Shein pays no taxes.
Yeah.
0.
And the founder's probably going to buy a $200 million house in Beverly Hills.
I guess he helps us that way. He's basically deleted off the internet, just so you know, the founder. You can't find anything about this guy.
Smart. I mean, you get sidelined in China if you're famous.
Yeah. Very interesting. Fun company to watch. Next one, Rothy's, which is a shoe brand that we've talked about this. It started in the women's space. They basically kind of kicked it off years ago, giving women comfortable shoes to wear to work. They were also made from recycled plastic bottles. And, you know, this was like one of those companies in the early D2C era that like people were really excited about. And it shocked, it really like took everyone by storm because it made sense. It actually solved the problem for women. And by the way, it was sustainable. And it worked. Havaianas, or the parent company of Havaianas, just bought half the company for $500 million, valuing the company at $1 billion. And the last round of funding they were worth $700 million. That was 2 years ago. So great outcome.
Don't you think it's a little light if Allbirds IPO'd at $4 billion? I would think Rothy's is like bigger.
My guess is from a revenue standpoint, they're just not.
So it says Rothy's is $140 million in net revenue and meaningfully profitable. We know Allbirds isn't profitable.
Allbirds is not, but Allbirds revenue, you don't get rewarded for profitability. Allbirds revenue is $219 million. They're worth $2 billion.
Oh, it came down from the IPO.
I don't know. I like Rothy's. I think it's a cool brand. I think the product, maybe it feels more niche than Allbirds. Allbirds maybe feels like a bigger opportunity. I don't know.
Good for Rothy's.
Yeah. Whatever. Big bag pro shops.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting to see how what they do with the brand next. Next up, so this was an interesting conversation we had at our family lunch yesterday. And we talked about this was, when there's someone that, let's take an athlete that you love and something unpleasant information comes out about them, you give them a pass.
Yeah.
And, we talked about it with our mom about all of her favorite athletes. And, scandals have come out about some of them. And she's, quietly looked away. And she was like, look, I don't judge them for their personal. I judge them for their, athletic prowess or whatever. And so our cousins were there who are from the Bay Area, huge Golden State Warriors, Steph Curry fans, obviously, as everyone is up there.
So yeah, Steph Curry, amongst all famous athletes, like we don't know these people. We get fed an image that Under Armour, the NBA, the teams all want us to believe. And every athlete, regardless of who it is, and I'm not just like singling out Steph or anyone, it's a manufactured product that's fed to us as consumers to basically be like, this guy's, family man, perfect life, blah, 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 all this stuff. And I just yesterday at lunch, I was like, they think everyone in the Warriors is a god. And I'm like, hey, we really don't know these people. Like, we don't know what's going on in their personal lives. Like, it's great to admire everyone for their on-court performance, but that's where you kind of have to leave it. Yeah. And
then some news broke today. And the news is that Steph Curry...
It's a rumor. But
it's a rumor. Okay, yeah. No rumors are true. So saying that Steph and Ayesha have an arrangement. And when it comes to their marriage, they have an open marriage. This is the rumor that is out there. And look, this is a privilege of being rich. Nothing to do with being famous. It has everything to do with being rich. And so they both comfortably like their lifestyles. They wanted to continue. They have children. And it happens. I'm not judging. I don't fucking care what anyone does privately. But it happens. And this is what's happening in the real world. And I think it's hard for the average person to swallow it because you want your people that you look up to be perfect in their personal life like they are in their career.
Yep.
And perfect is different for everyone. So in this case, they are comfortable with the life that they've chosen.
Yeah. And I think similarly, I'm not judging. Whatever works for them, and good for them. If they're happy, they're happy. But I think it's always been a thing. We've had the privilege of meeting a lot of famous people in the last 20 years. And I always made the comment, man, I wish we didn't meet them. Because you have this idolized image of certain people. And then when you meet them, you're just either disappointed or you find out things about them. You're like, man, that sucks. And I don't know. It's almost like a thing. You never want to meet your heroes because you'll likely be disappointed.
Yeah, 100%. There's so many people.
And just our experiences with meeting athletes and celebrities over the years, it made me kind of rethink who actually you should look up to. It's like your parents.
Yeah.
Right? It's
someone in your community.
Yeah.
Even I see people idolizing business leaders that they don't know.
Yep.
I think that it's the same thing. You sound like a fucking idiot.
Yeah, I look up to a lot of different qualities and different friends that I'm really close with. I'm like, oh, I need to do more of that. I need to do more of this. I'm not looking up to name your favorite athlete. Oh, I need to
or even name your favorite CEO. The same way I am with athletes, I'm with CEOs. I don't know them. I don't know their personal life. And I know enough to know that they're not fucking perfect. And so depending on what I'm looking for inspiration for, it's often in your own backyard, in your own community.
So then I think we're a little spoiled that we have a good group of successful friends across different industries.
That's when it comes to money, but there's a lot more to life than just money.
No, I'm talking about in personal life and in business life. So both. We have people who have successfully raised great families, people who are successful in business. what do you tell the person that doesn't have that community around them?
Yeah,
There are people that don't have that community, whether it's personal life, business life, doesn't matter. They just don't have friends that they want to emulate.
Yeah, and I think in that case, sure, look to outside sources for inspiration, but proceed with caution. Don't go blind, because I think a lot of people are so like, Elon Musk, blah, blah, blah. And then you don't know what Elon Musk is dealing with every single day. You don't know the life he lives, and it's unclear you want to live that life. You may want the money, but you may not want everything else that comes with Elon Musk.
Yeah, but I think that's also like something that's super important, because we lived a very stable life growing up, so we had a lot of role models within a stable household.
Yeah.
So that's not true of most people.
Yeah.
So they look for inspiration. That's why podcasts are like through the roof. That's why they listen to like Naval and like think Naval's Jesus, right? And like, and I don't know Naval. I'm not saying anything negative about him. I'm just saying like, there's this idolatry that happens when you don't have that in your stable household. And I guess the point is basically like, we don't know any of these people unless you know them personally.
Yeah, I agree, and I understand. I think the point that you're coming across, but like, you also have to seek it. People want the easy route and just look up to the famous person in the room. If you want to be surrounded by good people and more inspiring people, go fucking find it. Everyone always, comes to me like, "How do you know all these people?" It wasn't by luck. I went and found these people. I built that. You know how many dinners, drinks, meetings I take a day? It's nuts. I've still to this day put the effort to make that happen. And so I agree what you're saying. I come from that stable situation. I'm fortunate to always been around it, and I still put the effort in. So like I just at the end of the day, if that's what you're seeking, you got to put the effort in. Yeah. Otherwise, it's on you. It's on you if you're idolizing, Ty Lopez.
Yeah, or the Island Boys.
Well, hold on. I like the Island Boys. I like how they were talking shit at the fight the other day. I enjoy Island Boys clips. All right, we're going to end on some fun, informative, especially for our older listeners who may not know what's going on in popular culture. The most popular sneaker in America. Did you already click on this, Anand?
I didn't. No.
What do you think it is?
Crocs.
Air Force One.
Ah.
And if you walk around young people, I mean, you go to a festival, you go to Complex Con, you go to, I don't know, I went to a high school, or you go on TikTok when kids are doing like their outfits, boys and girls, everyone is in freaking Air Force Ones. It is by far the most popular shoe. I mean, the sub $100 price point, it's on sale in a lot of places all the time. Has made it this pretty popular shoe. Actually, I don't think it's sub $100 anymore. I think it was sub $100 when I used to buy it. I'm sure it's now more expensive. Yeah, it looks like it is definitely more expensive, over $100. But it is definitely the most popular shoe amongst young people. And it goes back to Nike's mantra, which has always been like, service the youth, forget everybody else. And what happens when you do that is I'm standing in line at the preschool. I see moms in Air Force Ones now. And you now clearly have like transcended just being a young person shoe and become the most popular shoe in America. The most increased searched shoe in America. Can you guess that?
Most increased shoe. So year over year?
Yeah, highest increase in searches over the year.
I'm assuming it's not Yeezy, but that would have been my guess.
No.
No, I don't really have good.
So it's a Nike Dunk.
So Nike's just dominating.
Yeah. I mean, dude, they dropped Travis Scott dunks. They did the Virgil dunks. I mean, like, Nike has the playbook. There's like, give Supreme a shoe, give this X celebrity a shoe, give this designer a shoe, and then boom, you're off to the races. And then a shoe that's trending, which clearly shows that it could be a top seller for next year, is Vans Canvas Skate High top shoe. So this is a very classic silhouette, been around forever. It looks like it's becoming popular. I mean, it's always been popular. It's Vans. Vans is always popular. But like, it's interesting in footwear. Like, in apparel, there's all these new brands. In footwear, it's the same.
Why is that? I guess Allbirds is one we talked about. That
Rothy's. But it's just that scale. Like, I think older consumers, like if you go to, for example, like on running, you're seeing all these like yuppies wear On, right? Like all these older folks are wearing On. Everywhere I go in Santa Monica and Beverly Hills, everyone's wearing On, right? Young people, if you don't market to them, they don't fucking wear your shit.
Yeah.
And Nike and Vans market to them all day. They're the only ones paying attention to them. So, yeah, good for them. All right, I think that's it. I have a shout out. It's a very interesting one.
Okay.
It's from Laura Giles. She's out in Atlanta, Georgia. She says she's one of our ruthless female followers. And because, what inspired her to send this was obviously your wife, Amanda, recently had her baby. So she wanted to plug her pelvic floor physical therapy.
Okay.
That's what she does for a living. She actually specializes in pregnancy and postpartum. And the idea is to restore function of pelvic floor, vagina, abs after pregnancy. And here we go. I know there's a lot of male listeners, but she goes, some of your male listeners may want their wives or girlfriends' vaginas right. Or she also treats men for erectile dysfunction, pain with ejaculation, premature ejaculation, any urinary issues. So, and prostate stuff. So she's based out of Atlanta, Georgia. Her name is Laura Giles. Her Instagram handle is @LauraG_pelvic PT. So look her up if you're in the area, or reach out to her if you're having any of these issues. You're having a little bit of that premature ejaculation. Hit up Laura. Maybe she can help you out.
Shout out.
Yeah, that was a good one. Anything else, Jordan?
No, sir.
All right, everyone. Have a safe and incredible remaining of this short holiday week. We'll be back Thursday. We'll knock out an episode for the Christmas Santa Claus episode.
We'll try to spice it up to make Christmas, give you some hard takes so you can go into Christmas dinner hot.
Hot, very hot. Or in many cases, you'll be alone by yourself because you caught the variant.
Yeah. All right.
So be safe, everyone. Do what's best for you and your family. You don't have to prove anything to anyone that you went and did something. And we will see you on Thursday. Bye-bye.